I'm going to quickly talk about packages. We'll see quite a bit of packages in Android. So just to review here quickly, again, this isn't great detail. I'm probably going to be skipping a lot of stuff, but if you have questions about it, you got to let me know. So in Eclipse here, I'm going to do File, New, and create a new Java project. And I'm going to call it Packages, and then hit Finish here. Now the first thing I'm going to do is going to make my app driver class. I mentioned this in the setters and getters segment, so you can review that if you're not sure what I'm talking about. But so I right click on the source directory in my packages project, and I'm going to do class, call it app driver, and this is going to have our main method in it. So I'm just going to let Eclipse create the stub for me by checking this checkbox here and hit finish. So, and now notice what happened here. I right clicked on the source folder, but suddenly there's this default package icon showing up here. When you create a class, if it doesn't specifically belong to a package, it'll be in what's known as the default package. And basically it's just the package of the application. But I'm going to create a new package here, and I'm going to take the example of the cars that we used in the setters and getters segment. So I'm right clicking on my source directory, and I'm going to do new package, and I'm going to call it cars. So why do we create a package? For a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a good way for us to organize our code. So I might have many classes in this cars package, all that are related to cars. It might start with like a super class or a base class called car, but then I might make a bunch of subclasses, maybe Honda, Toyota, Ford, whatever, and they might all subclass my car class. So this allows me to put all my classes that are related to cars in a single package, or to group them together. Now the other reason why we need packages is that, and you can see here, it created the package here when I hit finish. Now this one looks a little bit different. It's clear, whereas the default package is orangish. The reason why this one's clear is because there's no classes in it yet. As I was saying, the second reason, other than organizing your code for using packages, is that it prevents name collisions. There might be an application that uses a couple different variations of a car class. So if you're using two different car classes written by different programmers, I'm not sure if this is the best example, but how is Java going to know which one you really want to use? And we do that by specifying the package name that the class is coming from. So you're not allowed to have two classes with the same name in the same package, otherwise you'll get errors. So we differentiate between, if a car class existed in two different packages, we use the package name to specify which one we want to use. So I'll go ahead and right click on the cars package here and do new, and then class, create my car class, and I'll just hit finish right away. So here's my empty car class. You can see right here the package that it's in is cars. And I'm going to go back over to my app driver, and I'm going to try and instantiate that car class. I always like to get rid of this comment code that Eclipse generates for you, so if you see me doing that, I kind of do it automatically. Okay, so I'm going to try and initialize an instance of a car. Car, we'll call the identifier C1, so that's the variable name, equals new car. Alright, now there's an error here. That little red X there is an error. It's saying car cannot be resolved to a type. Now why is that? It's because we are in the default package. The app driver class is in the default package, but the class that we want to use, the car, is in a different class. So we need to import that class and specify the package that it's coming from. Now Eclipse has a shortcut for you to do this, and Android Studio does too, but they're slightly different. In Eclipse, if you see this error and it says car cannot be resolved to a type, so if it can't resolve to a type, that most likely means that you haven't imported it. So in Eclipse, what you can do is hit Control plus Shift plus O. So I'm hitting all three of those keys at once, Control, the Shift key, and the O key, and it will automatically go through all my code in the class and import the classes that you need. Alright, so that's all I want to say about packages. And now you can see that the error went away. There's a warning, but that's only because I'm not using this variable anywhere else. Alright. Actually, there is one more thing I want to say about packages, and like I said earlier, we see them a lot in Java and Android. Now, normally what you're supposed to do is when you create your packages, they should be prefixed with your domain name in reverse. That sounds kind of confusing, but I have a website. It's called remwebdevelopment.com. So technically what I should do is prefix my packages with my domain name in reverse. I'm going to create another package over here, right click on the source folder and do new package. And so in building a real app, I would make my packages like this: com.remwebdevelopment.cars, and that would be my package name. Now, why do we do this? It's because nobody else in the world other than myself has this domain name registered. So that way we can be guaranteed that we won't have two packages with the same name. So if I've created just a cars package without that prefix and somebody else created a cars package, then we're stuck with a naming collision again if I want to use both of those packages in my project. So by prefixing your package names with something unique to you, that'll prevent any sort of name collision. And you'll see this a lot in Android apps. In fact, when you create an Android application, it'll prompt you to do this. And I can't remember what Android Studio puts for the default in here. It's something like com.example. Your application name or something like that. But and that's okay to just use the default when you're just playing around and writing sample code. But when you're starting to write your own real application, you'd want to give your application a prefix or of something that's unique to you, and it's your domain name is that thing that should be unique to you. So they assume that every developer has their own domain name registered. All right, enough about that.